Yo, Heavy!
On October 31st, 2024, YouTube channel 2 Idiot Germans broke a 2-year silence with the upload of The Empty Server. This video marked the beginning of a 3-part series following a TF2 player's eerie encounter with an entity ominously named the Serverblight. Prior to this, the channel mostly posted typical TF2 clip compilations, the kind you could find on countless other channels. The series was made by 2 very talented people, with Derfish06 being in charge of scriptwriting, directing, animating, and editing all their projects, and possibly Lino, who was the music composer and designer for all the posters and thumbnails, who would also help out with animation. It's a very interesting series and I highly recommend you watch it before watching this video. So without further ado, let's dive straight in. The story kicks off with our protagonist loading into a payload match on Thunder Mountain. Judging by his playtime, he's no novice. After some quick math, it turns out that Dixalot here has racked up over 1,800 hours in TF2. Surprisingly, he picks Sniper, his least played class. After spawning in, he types a casual "what's up" in chat, only to immediately get told by another player to kill himself. He shrugs it off, calling the player rude, and heads outside the spawn. Curious about the eerie quiet, he wonders where everyone is. That's when a red spy uncloaks behind him, only to sprint straight off the cliff and die, leaving the match shortly after. Our protagonist laughs at this, but things get stranger. A red scout appears, running in a straight line. The sniper takes a shot, but misses, and the scout stops in his tracks, nodding his head as if pleading to be killed. The sniper obliges and the scout collapses, but unlike the spy, this player doesn't leave the game. Intrigued, the protagonist pushes further into the map, still met with an unsettling lack of players. The sniper stumbles across the lifeless body of a red heavy, only to realize he can't disconnect from the match. When he looks back, the heavy's body has vanished. Shaken, he notices the payload near the final capture point and decides to push forward. However, he gets distracted by a red engineer. Curious, the sniper follows him, only to find the engineer standing unnaturally still, eerily human. Nothing like a typical player. The engineer then insists that the sniper must end his own life. Confused and increasingly unnerved, the sniper questions how the engineer is moving so strangely, but the engineer doesn't answer. Instead, he keeps repeating the same chilling command. The sniper needs to take his own life. Before the sniper can process what's happening, the engineer abruptly says, "Leave while you still can." Then, after taking his melee weapon, the engineer glances at something behind the sniper. His expression shifts to fear, and without another word, he bolts up the stairs. The sniper turns around and freezes. The arm of the heavy from earlier is sticking out of the doorway, but something's off. This heavy has too many fingers. Oh, and he sounds like that. Panicked, the sniper bolts up the same stairs the engineer fled to, only to find the engineer's lifeless body. Beside him lies a message scrawled hastily: "Don't let it take you alive." Heart-pounding, the sniper doesn't hesitate. He leaps out of the nearest window, the entity close behind him. Sprinting to the edge of the map, he throws himself off, disconnecting shortly afterwards. We then get a glimpse of the entity. Seeing this, I was immediately reminded of John Carpenter's The Thing, which is a formless creature that assimilates other living things into it, taking control of them to blend in and spread like a virus. However, after talking with the creators, I learned that while it shares similarities, the idea for this creature actually came from SCP-610. For those who don't know, SCP-610, also known as the Flesh That Hates, is an anomalous pathogen documented by the SCP Foundation. It infects humans, causing grotesque, rapid tissue growth and mutation, leading to horrific transformations. The creator also said another inspiration for their entity was Pre-Sprunky's series named Hoovydundy, which is a suspenseful horror series also set within the Team Fortress 2 universe, and animated using Gary's mod. The narrative of this series centers on Hoovydundy, a red heavy character who transforms into a vengeful entity after enduring severe torment and the loss of his team. The series explores themes of revenge and the consequences of cruelty within the game's setting. Interestingly enough, in this series, the characters have a problem with their respawn machine, which reminded me a lot of Nemesis Blue despite Pre-Spunky's series coming out 6 years prior. After reading several comments and rewatching the video multiple times, a few interesting details stand out. First, neither the Red Scout nor Engineer leave the game after being killed. Only the Sniper and the Spy, who managed to run off the map, successfully escaped the Serverblight. Another intriguing moment occurs when the Sniper jumps out the window. He takes fall damage, and so does the Serverblight when it follows. This suggests that the entity is subject to the same mechanics that affect regular players. Episode 2, titled Migration, picks up right after the events of the previous episode, with the sniper's message about leaving the server still visible in the chat box. An engineer named Johnny Danny joins the match and is immediately greeted by the engineer from the previous video. Wait, didn't he die? Johnny heads to the last capture point and begins building a sentry, but then he hears a strange squishing sound, followed by the same message from earlier. The engineer repeats it over and over, each message accompanied by more squishing. Eventually, Johnny grows frustrated and decides to investigate the source of the constant squishing noise. When he arrives, he finds the engineer repeatedly slamming his head into the stairs, each impact accompanied by the same message. As the camera angle shifts, it becomes clear that something unseen is forcing the engineer to do this. Johnny asks what's going on, but instead of a response, all we get is the Serverblight coming up the stairs, ready to add him into its growing mass. Before the Serverblight can claim its new victim, Johnny disconnects from the match. However, what Johnny doesn't realize is that by leaving, he's unknowingly taught the Serverblight how to escape the game as well. Aw, that's nice. What I found interesting in this episode is that when the Serverblight is heading up the stairs, you can see the engineer seemingly begging for help, as if he's either not fully assimilated, or even if he is, he's still alive, despite not being in control of his own body. Episode 3, titled Serverblight, picks up with our protagonist and his friend Hectornon, or Matt, losing a match on Snowy Coast. It's here we finally learn our protagonist's name, Aaron.
Aaron? Go soldier!
Matt, determined to turn things around, tells Aaron to switch to soldiers so they can carry the team and make a comeback. What follows is a quick montage of Matt and Aaron, with some unexpected help from a random heavy, turning the game around. However, despite their efforts, most of the server ends up leaving. As the teams shuffle, only Matt, Aaron, and the heavy from earlier remain on blue side. Matt, realizing they're outnumbered, suggests they switch to casual mode instead of sticking to community servers. Aaron, however, insists he doesn't want to. Matt presses him, curious about his reluctance. Then out of nowhere, several players join the red team, including Johnny Danny and Gillisu, the two engineers from the previous video. Aaron, recognizing one of the names, urgently tells Matt they need to leave the server. Matt tries, but realizes he can't disconnect nor killbind. Without hesitation, Aaron attempts to blow himself up to escape, but Matt stops him, suggesting they simply Alt F4 if the situation turns bad. Aaron agrees, and it's a good thing he did, because we already know that the scout and engineer who died while still on the map in the first episode have already been assimilated into the Serverblight. The blue heavy decides to head off on his own despite saying, "We go together," leaving Matt and Aaron to push the cart all by themselves. They push it alone, and despite reaching a capture point, there's no sign of red team. That is until Matt sees a scout rushing up the stairs. Matt pulls out his Uber saw and attempts to give chase. Aaron stops Matt and says he shouldn't go after it. However, Matt says he can't pass up on the free Uber charge and goes anyway. What follows is the sound of the medic swinging his Uber saw, and the scout screams as he dies. When Aaron arrives, he finds his friend standing over the scout's body. Aaron asks if Matt is okay, but his answer is cut off by shotgun blasts in the background. They continue pushing the payload, but it's not long before they get interrupted by more shotgun blasts from off-screen. Aaron says Matt should go check it out, and check it out he does. Aaron starts to follow, but he gets distracted by the same scout from earlier, in a scene that, for some reason, reminded me a lot of the scout creature we see in Nemesis Blue. Matt calls out to Aaron, and the two go to check on our heavy friend. When the two arrive, they find out they're already too late, for Scuba Master has already become a part of the Serverblight. The newly infected heavy starts to chase Matt and Aaron, backing them into the corner. Aaron quickly starts a vote to kick Scuba Master, and with the help of Matt, they pull it off right before it reaches them. Luckily for them, 2 votes was enough, unlike some vote kick instances.
Shut up! Yeah, dude, I got 100 sinking sexes! We need to kick the shit out of Monster Yambo!
With Scuba Master gone, Aaron tells Matt that they need to throw themselves off the map at the final capture point, and the two head off to do so. On the way, they find a freaky demo man, some freshly taken supplies, and our poor boy Johnny. Johnny is shown shivering in the cold in the very somber sequence in which Johnny asks if this is heaven, and if it is, why it's so cold. It's a scene that led many people to believe, myself included, that Johnny was just a random kid playing TF2 that ended up in a very heartbreaking scenario. Aaron is about to put an end to Johnny's suffering, but before he can do so, the Serverblight shows up with its distorted screaming and ragdoll noises. I'm sorry, I just can't. The two make a break for it and start to get chased by the demo man we saw earlier, now looking like the Two-Faced Thing from the 2011 prequel. Aaron blows it up with a well-timed rocket, but it doesn't stay dead for long, being reabsorbed just seconds after it was blown up. Aaron takes a quick mental health break, and I'm just gonna let the scene play out.
What? What?
That's right, Matt has been a fake ever since he went to Ubersaw the Scout. I love the moment when Aaron realizes that it's repeating Matt's voice lines. Just as much as I love the Serverblight looking up to realize the voice box icon is in the wrong place. If you look close enough, you can actually find signs that Matt was a fake all along, like his twitchy hands after he kills the Scout, his repeated voice lines.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Yo, heavy! Yo, heavy!
And his overall calmness to the situation as a whole. It's an amazing twist that makes the series all the more enjoyable. With the cover of the fake Matt blown, he starts to get all 2012 The Possession on us, his fingers stretching while Aaron understandably mourns his dead friend. The fake Matt starts to chase Aaron along with the demo and Pyro, however Aaron rocket jumps off the map before any of them can catch him. With Aaron now gone, the fake Matt goes back to looking normal again, just as another batch of players join. The Serverblight smiles, ready to trick the new players, and the video ends. The climactic episode leaves a haunting impression, showcasing the Serverblight's intelligence and the creator's masterful storytelling. It's clear that a lot of thought went into every detail, from the unnerving audio to the subtle hints foreshadowing Matt's fate. Curious about how this chilling concept came to life, I reached out to the creators of the series to learn more about their inspiration and creative process. When I spoke to the creators of the series, they admitted they never expected it to take off. Their first animation was originally a side project, something for Halloween. They'd always wanted to experiment with Source Filmmaker, but like so many creative endeavors, it was a matter of finding the right moment to start. What set their project apart was a deliberate twist on a familiar concept, liminal horror. They admired the eerie, unsettling atmosphere that liminal settings could create, but felt something was missing in most interpretations. Liminal horror is often celebrated for avoiding monsters entirely, but they wanted to challenge that. They set out to create something more concrete, a horror series that blended the strange, empty beauty of liminal spaces with a straightforward narrative. And while they had a basic idea in mind, much of the story evolved organically as they worked. While doing research for this video, I happened to check out Darfish's channel and found out that he's been making short horror films for the greater part of about 6 years now. And I recommend that you also go check out those as well. I personally liked all his more recent ones as I didn't have the time to do a deep dive. I will, however, be watching the rest of them as soon as this video gets uploaded. To wrap things up, the Empty Server series by Two Idiot Germans is a remarkable example of how creativity and passion can transform a simple idea into something extraordinary. What began as a simple side project blossomed into a hauntingly effective blend of horror, mystery, and dark humor, set in the familiar yet unsettling world of Team Fortress 2. The Serverblight isn't just another monster, it's a character that embodies the perfect balance of liminal horror and tangible threat, making it both terrifying and compelling. From its unsettling mimicry to the clever subversions of typical gameplay mechanics, every detail feels purposeful. The series never spoon-feeds its audience, instead rewarding attentive viewers with layers of foreshadowing and subtle narrative clues. Beyond the animations, the creators' dedication to experimenting with Source Filmmaker and crafting original music and visuals sets their work apart. Their ability to evolve a story organically while maintaining a coherent and gripping narrative speaks to the talent and collaborative synergy. If there's one thing this series shows, it's how much potential lies in exploring unconventional ideas. Whether you're a fan of TF2, horror, or just good storytelling, The Empty Server is a must-watch. It's a testament to the power of passion projects, proving that even niche concepts can resonate deeply when executed with care and creativity. So if you haven't already, I highly encourage you to go check out not only this series, but also the rest of Two Idiots German's channel. And while you're at it, explore Darfish's solo projects for even more creepy and thought-provoking content. Who knows, you might just find your next favorite creator. Let me know if you guys find any references to any other media, and as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.